Hey, what's up? How you doing? My name is Neville Solomon, and welcome to New Perspectives. On this show, we talk about life transformation, and today I'm going to be talking about the 7 secrets of happiness. Have you ever felt depressed? Have you ever really felt down? Have you ever thought about, the struggles of life, stress, difficulty at work, and some that you don't really know what to do? Like you're thinking, what can I do to alleviate the stress? Financial problems, don't have enough money. Problems in your family, having challenges with yourself and your partner or yourself and your children. And you just think to yourself, all I want to do is I just want to be happy. I want to be happy. Well, today I want to share 7 secrets with you on how to achieve that happiness. For one person, happiness means one thing. For another person, happiness means another thing. But at the end of the day, you and I, we share similarities of things that we need to be happy. So first and foremost is all of us, we want to be significant in life. We want someone to notice us. We want to have a purpose. And sometimes the struggle in life is that you feel like you're not really noticed. So at the end of the day, you have to sit down and spend some time just thinking about yourself, what makes you unique, what makes you a person of worth. And you have to begin to just sit down and maybe even write a list of what makes me significant. So that's secret number 1, is that you have to have a great desire to know in some way that God has created you to be significant. On the other hand, you have a lot of people who are living who are pretty confident in themselves and they still feel unhappy. And I think that's a big thing in life in terms of people just feeling disconnected. So the second key to happiness is you have to have connection with people. In Western society, we call that love. And if people can't get love, they try to find connection in other ways, whether it's at work, whether it is in the community, whether it's through their family, whether it's through the friends. But at the end of the day, the ultimate thing we're looking for is love. So it's key in terms of us being happy to find connection with people who care about us and who we care about. So not only do we want to be significant and we need to find some significance in our life, and not only do we have to have a desire to love people, to receive love and to give love, but also on a day-to-day basis, we have routines. All of us, we need certainty. We need to have an understanding what our day is going to be like. So in order to alleviate the stresses of life, we have to begin to set up routines in our life. One of the routines that I set up to be able to, just make it through the day is I set up a routine of being grateful, a gratefulness routine where I kind of sit down and write out or think about some of the things I'm grateful to God for. It could be simple things that I'm thankful for, but I try to have this routine on a daily basis so that when things are trying to stress me out, I'm able to kind of sit down and work out through this routine. Routines can be much simpler than that, like, eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the same time. Routines can be things like exercising at a particular time each day. But it's very important, if we're going to be happy, that we have to have routines in our life. So a fourth important secret that we have to have is that we also need to have spontaneity, or we need to have surprise in our life. If you're going to be happy and you're doing the same thing every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, gym, watch TV, go to bed, you're going to, after a while, start to feel, a little bit down. But in order to have that zip in your life or to have that excitement in your life, you have to have surprises. You have to sit down and do some things that you don't regularly do. I call it the theme park life. So instead of eating at the same restaurant all the time, go to something completely different that you would never do before and just try to experience it. Instead of going to the same place, that you go for fun, try to switch it up and do something different. Because if you're going to experience happiness, there needs to be some variety in your life. One of the best stories I could tell is that if you've ever met anybody, and I'm not one of these people, who's jumped out of a plane on their parachute, and they're screaming, some of them are crying, they're having all kinds of problems. But when they jump out of that on that parachute, out of that plane, and they come down to the ground, they land, they find you and I, and they tell us about their story, and they tell everybody about their story, and we're all captivated by the fact that this person has done something spontaneous, surprising, and has jumped out of a plane. Now, many of us don't really want to go that far, but you want to do something that's spontaneous, that's surprising, that gives you energy, and maybe even you can share those stories with other people. Another very significant thing that you have to do in order to be happy is that you have to give. Giving is a part of happiness. When I'm talking about giving, I'm not just talking about giving money away, even though giving money away is helpful. I'm talking about giving your time. I'm talking about sitting down and sharing your ideas with people. I'm talking about just giving of yourself, sometimes even giving to yourself, in terms of giving yourself time to sit down and think about your future, giving yourself time to just relax, giving yourself time to just laugh and to smile. I am a big movie buff. So for me, I like to watch movies that are inspiring, and I'll sit down, watch it, and I'll enjoy these kinds of movies. And it's like giving to myself. But I think it's very important for us to give to ourselves, to our families, to our friends, and also to give to those that we don't know. Give to those who are struggling, who need a little bit of assistance, and even giving to those who are doing well off in terms of just giving a person a smile or giving them a kind word. We live in a culture and a time period where everybody thinks about themselves. So when you give to them, it really impacts people, but also in you giving, it also impacts you. So that is a key to happiness. Another key to happiness is that we have to grow. All of us, we have to grow. We have to learn. We have to challenge ourselves. We have to do something new. I believe that reading is very helpful. A lot of people, they don't like reading, but I think reading, watching different vlogs, and even watching a podcast like this and exposing yourself to new information, it's really, really helpful in terms of just challenging yourself and helping yourself to grow. Because at the end of the day, when we find ourselves, depressed, or we find ourselves struggling with stress at work, or we find ourselves having financial problems, a lot of times through study, through talking with other people, we can find solutions to many of our problems. So my encouragement to you is that you have to grow. And then the very last secret to happiness is that you have to have spiritual empowerment. You have to have experiences that are beyond just the natural. It can be as small as just praying, that you just spend time and you're just praying and you're trying to connect to God. You're trying to connect to the power that you can't see, that created this world. Or it could be something as huge as actually experiencing and feeling like God is touching you or God is speaking to you. I know a lot of people, they will pick up beautiful books like the Bible, and when they pick up the Bible, they'll say that they feel like God is speaking to them. I know some people who, it could be something where a person is just standing at the ocean, and as they're looking at that grand sight of the waves just coming in and out, they feel something bigger than themselves. So it's very important, if you're going to be happy, to experience the spiritual, to experience something that's bigger than you, that's bigger than us as a whole. Because in order for us to be happy, we have to experience something greater than just this world. So those are the 7 secrets that I want to share with you. But the most important thing I wanted to say is that life transformation comes to those who have made up in their mind that I am going to be happy. Life might not always be easy. We might not get the things that we want, but if we can have the right routines, if we can begin to surprise ourselves in our life, if we can see ourselves as significant, if we can connect with others and love with them, and if we can connect with others and love them, if we can give, if we can grow, if we can have spiritual experiences, that will all lead to us being more happy. So I just wanted to encourage you to grab onto a new life perspective and to make this year your happiest year to live.